Liberation TV of Ambazonia.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
anti-colonial revolutionary TV and Welcome to Ambazonia Communication Network, the most educational and anti-colonial revolutionary TV in sub-Saharan Africa. This primetime event will begin momentarily. We urge our viewers to stand by.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
Biafra is an African nation of about 65 million people located in the southeast of present-day Nigeria that existed prior to the advent of colonialism in the continent. As an independent state, Biafra carried out its trade and commerce with other neighboring countries before its forceful amalgamation with the northern western parts of the Republic of Nigeria. The people of Biafra briefly enjoyed a spell of independence between 1967 and 1970 when they unilaterally declared secession. However, this move resulted in a deadly civil war that killed almost 2 million people, most of whom were young children who died of starvation. Despite the promise of no victor, no vanquished treatment at the end of the war, Biafrans have consistently and systematically been subjected to economic, political, and social strangulation by Nigeria. More than 50 years after the war, the circumstances that led to it are still prevalent, as ethnic tensions are still not resolved. These issues have over several years led to marches, protests, and demonstrations with the demand for a full self-rule for the region. The leader of IPOB, the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, now holds the mantle to restore that which is rightly theirs, an independent state of Biafra. To the east of Mazi Kanu's ancestral land is that of his newfound partner, Dr. Cho Ayaba, a citizen of the former British Trust territory of southern Cameroon's now called Ambazonia. This liberator, whose people have been battling the colonial state of Cameroon for more than 6 decades, have just entered the 5th year of active combat with its genocidal army. Southern Cameroon's Africa's first democracy that saw a complete peaceful transfer of power after a free and fair election would not long after be violated of its right to self-rule. In violation of international law under Article 4B of the African Union Constitutive Act that froze its boundaries as obtained at independence, Cameroon, on October 1961, marched an army of occupation and colonial administrators across international borders into Ambazonia, a former British Trust territory of southern Cameroons, and have been in colonial occupation till this day. Cameroon would gradually dismantle Ambazonia's political institutions to the extent of annihilating Ambazonia's world-class democratic structures. As prognosticated by a 1972 wire now declassified from the U.S. Embassy Yaoundé to the White House, resentment grew among the people of Ambazonia. By the late 90s, various Ambazonian emancipation movements had been formed, and the voices that clamored for full independence were suppressed just as huge mineral deposits were discovered by France, French Cameroon's colonial master. This greed would spiral out for over 6 decades until 5 years ago, with the people of Ambazonia decided to fight back method for method. With so much historical justification for both the people of Biafra and their counterparts in Ambazonia, forming collaborative alliances to strengthen their resolve in and has been under consideration for a long time. Today, both leaders, and with the support of their respective citizens, are now set to speak for the first time about their groundbreaking relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ambazonian Communication Network will now like to welcome the host of this primetime event. Our hosts will then have the privilege to usher in their leaders, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, and Dr. Cho Ayaba, the leader of the Ambazonia Liberation War.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to this historic day. I am Simon Ekpa, an activist of the indigenous people of Biafra. Today, we are bringing to you a historic press briefing of 2 leaders. We are bringing to you this historic press briefing, and today history will be made. On this note, may I bring in these 2 leaders who have defied everything the corrupt, terrorist African leaders has brought upon the people. May I use this opportunity to bring to the studio the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the undefeatable leader, a man with 9 lives, the man who have defied all nature, defied all terrorist activities of the Nigeria government, the man who have made it possible for us today to be very resilient and very brave to request and agitate for the freedom of the people of Biafra. a man who defeated death. The day the Nigerian government invaded his house and shot dead almost over 100 people. Today, he is leading the world's most powerful movement for the freedom of Biafra people. He is the leader of Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB. IPOB has become one of the world's most powerful movements for the freedom of indigenous people. The IPOB are scattered almost all over 120 countries of the world. Welcome, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Ohamadike of Biafra, to the studio.
Simon, and thank you all the wonderful people of Biafra listening and watching right across this very planet Earth. And also I welcome my dear brother, Dr. Cho, who is here with me today, and my greetings to the very resilient and resolute Ambazonian people. And I can assure each and every one of them that by the end of this very process, one outcome is inevitable. That is the liberation of our nations. I thank all of you once again, and I do hope that this evening will provide a very compelling insight into what we have in store for our respective peoples in terms of what we are doing to restore God's kingdom upon the face of the earth. That very part of this world that have hitherto been neglected. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome to the studio. So welcome to the studio, the undefeatable leader of the Ambazonia Liberation of War, Dr. Cho Ayaba. Dr. Cho Ayaba have as well defeated all the terrorist governments in Cameroon. Today, he has given the opportunity for Ambazonians to be very resolute in their quest for freedom of their Ambazonians. Let me use this opportunity once more.
Thanks for having me. First, let me thank my brother, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, for taking this bold step so we can stand shoulder by shoulder and together to face the ultimate systems that have put our people under subjugation. I want to thank our people, Ambazonians, for showing their understanding to this alliance, and we will be speaking to their fears and aspirations and hope. To the great people of Biafra who have suffered tribulations and torment, I think as your leader has said, you are the appointed generation, and you will see Biafra. Thank you.
Dr. Cho Ayaba for that wonderful speech and opening speech. Now we are going to have a brief press briefing from both leaders. Like you know, this is a historic day as we move forward for the liberation of the Ambazonians and Biafra people. The generation of Ambazonia and new generation of Biafra on this day will make history. Let me use this opportunity to bring in the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Ohamadike one of Biafra.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Ambazonia and Biafra, the national anthem of Ambazonia.
be the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meet in our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God be the watchman of this nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Biafra and Ambazonia, the national anthem of the indigenous people of Biafra.
Land of the rising sun, we love and cherish. Beloved homeland of our brave heroes, we must defend our lives, or we shall perish. We shall protect our hearts from all our foes. But if the price is death for all we hold dear, then let us die without a shred of fear. Hail to Biafra, consecrated nation. O fatherland, this be our solemn pledge. Defending thee shall be our dedication. Spilling our blood will count our privilege. The God which emboldens the free shall always be our flag of liberty.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Ambazonia, Biafra, and friends of the world, welcome to the joint press briefing between the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu, and the leader of the Ambazonian Liberation War, Dr. Cho Ayaba.
Thank you very much, great people all over the world, the wonderful people of Ambazonia, my own flesh and my own blood, my own kith and my kin. It is a unique honor and privilege to share the same platform with one of your leaders, the leader of war of Ambazonia, Dr. Cho Ayuba, who is here today representing the aspirations, the wishes, and the hopes of Ambazonian people all over the world, and more critically, the leader of Ambazonia himself, the president, who is incarcerated in a prison in Yaoundé. A man I hold in great esteem and admiration. Our hearts, our prayers, our thoughts, and our hopes, of course, go out to him, and we do hope he will be released very, very imminently. My dear people all over the world, Biafrans and Ambazonians, we stand on the brink of history on this very day. Today is the 9th day of April in the year of our Most High Elohim 2021. It is a day that will go down in history, the history of Biafra and Ambazonia peoples, and indeed the history of Africa at large. As a day that our peoples came together with close ranks, identified our common problems, and crystallized it in a speedy emergence of these very two nations. We Biafrans and Ambazonians have resolved from this very day to do what we must do and everything humanly possible to ensure that we change not only the narrative, but to begin the process of the eventual reclaiming of our long shared collective heritage, a shared heritage that goes back to the beginning of time. Today, we are indeed on the brink of history. A lot of people never wanted us to get together. A lot of people never wanted us to identify with one another. Those who are benefiting from our misery and our pain, today we have reduced all of them to nothing. Because genetically and culturally, Biafrans and Ambazonians go back to the beginning of time as original peoples of southern Nigeria and southern Cameroon. Geneticists have sequenced and dated the DNA of Biafrans and Ambazonians and discovered them to be one of the oldest DNA on planet Earth. The earliest culture builders on planet Earth, known to archaeologists and anthropologists as the Bantu peoples of Africa, originated from within the regions of Biafra and Ambazonia. We are old people. We are the people of the ancient. From these very Biafran and Ambazonian regions, the Bantu homeland and the cradle of human civilization, the great Bantus migrations of 1500 BC to 2000 BC took place to introduce our collective civilizations to other corners of Africa and beyond. The history of our two peoples, Biafrans and Ambazonians, has indeed been intertwined and shared from time immemorial. Our forefathers were very much aware of this shared heritage and destiny of Biafrans and Ambazonians. And at different times in history, the coming together of Biafran and Ambazonian peoples under collective leadership and cooperation has produced radically rewarding results. We should perhaps mention a few examples here. Examples of the powerful and rewarding results that Biafra and Ambazonia partnership could produce, we are seeing in the liberation of Haiti, a former slave colony of the French between 1791 and 1804 through a historic revolution. Our people are noted because they are warriors. Ambazonians and Biafrans alike fought side by side as one people in Haiti that made Haiti the first black nation on this very earth to shake off the shackles of slavery and domination. This is the origin of such extant Haitian phrases as Igbo Gramon and Igbo Lele, as you have today in Haiti. Similarly, during colonial invasion and the subsequent colonization of these regions, which was nothing but a sophisticated form of slavery, our peoples, Biafrans and Ambazonians, fought colonial enslavement with everything they had. The exploits of Ekumeku, the secret society of freedom fighters in Biafra land that engaged the British invading colonialists for over 3 decades, is still very fresh in our minds. Again, it was to people from Biafra and Ambazonia that the burden of ending colonial occupation politically in the region fell on their shoulders. Hence, we have the activity of the Nigeria Council, the National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon, NCNC, of course, well superintended by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, which was coordinated by nationalists from Biafra and Ambazonia as reference in the anti-colonial movement that would produce the present Berlin Conference design states like Nigeria and Cameroon, which unfortunately Biafrans and Amazonians are suffering untold hardships under. The sufferings and pains of Biafrans and Ambazonians are carefully and diabolically designed neo-colonial schemes to ensure that our peoples, who are natural leaders of the Black world, never develop or make any progress, consequently leading to the subjugation of the entire African continent in perpetuity. This diabolical neo-colonialist scheme has not succeeded because the colonial enslavers simply decreed it into existence. No, it was succeeding because some fellow Black people or Africans decided to make themselves willing tools in the enslavement of the rest of their brothers and sisters, and this is something that we are determined to bring to an end. This trend is by no means a recent trend. It is indeed a trend that is as old as the Arab enslavement of Africans and will be perfected through the European enslavement and colonization through invasion of the rest of Black Africa. In Africa, there are groups whose whole economic existence and their worldviews have evolved around their collaboration with those who have no value for African lives and want to destroy Africans by every means. That is how the phenomenon of the Fulani terrorist proclivity have been created over the ages to destroy everything that is African. It is a proclivity that has engendered the existence of not less than 6 or 7 terrorist groups that are owned and operated by the Fulani people, terrorizing people and grabbing their lands across West African sub-region, as well as the areas bordering the entire Gulf of Guinea. It is a proclivity that has been enabled by some evil people, both outside and inside Africa. Both Biafrans and Ambazonians have been victims of this evil. And today, going forward, we have resolved to bring it to an end. Over the years, our grandfathers and our grandmothers have stomached this terrorist proclivity in the hope that it would go away somehow. But it's clear to all that after so much turning of the other cheek, because when they slap us on one cheek, we turn the other cheek for them to slap as well, and payment in blood, these bullies never ever became reasonable. Instead, it has emboldened them. This is part of the reason why Biafrans and Ambazonians are coming together this very day to confront our collective enemies together. We are also coming together to rediscover our shared biological and cultural heritages. Extant anthropological studies point to the cultural unity of Biafrans and Ambazonian peoples because we are one people. Anybody who is doubting us should please consult their genetic studies and DNA mapping, which point to a singular origin of both Biafrans and Ambazonians. It is therefore only logical that this day would come. We are grateful to Almighty God in heaven, for determining that this alliance must be formed so that God's own people will be set free, as only Him has decreed. We are indeed on the brink of history. So far, even though our struggles for freedom have had different trajectories, Biafrans and Ambazonians have a shared destiny. Our collective destiny is to once again lead the continent of Black Africa to achieve the type of civilization that humanity will marvel at just like our Bantu ancestors did when they civilized the whole of the known world around them. In the coming days, we Biafrans and Ambazonians will be communicating to the world in sequence, and as the need arises, our blueprint for cooperation preparatory to the re-emergence of our nations, just like the Almighty God in heaven, Chukwukika Abiyama, has decreed. In this vein, I hereby welcome every Biafran, every Ambazonian to a new dawn of our shared destiny and collective leadership of our peoples to lasting freedom. Long live the Republic of Biafra. Long live the nation of Ambazonia. Thank you very much. And now.
Yes, sir. And that was a press briefing coming from our leader, Mazi Namdi Okukano, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. And let me use this opportunity to welcome the leader of the Ambazonian Liberation of War, Dr. Cho Ayaba. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks to my brother Mazi Namdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. We have assembled here today in front of our two peoples to declare our intentions to work together to ensure our collective survival from the brutal annexation that have occurred in our both nations. We understand the difficulties that both peoples, the people of Biafra and Ambazonia, have faced in the last 60 years. But we have been discussing in the past few months to ensure that our collective strength be brought together to be more impactful to ensuring that we do not bequeath to the next generation a more oppressed homeland than we inherited. The Ambazonia and Biafra alliance is critical in an area where Nigeria and Cameroon have established two autocracies that have used violence as a political tool to suppress our both peoples. Within Nigeria itself, you have in the north the Hausas and Fulanese who have cross-border relationships in Niger. In the west, you have the Yorubas with cross-border relationship into Benin. The people of Biafra have been denied access to Ambazonia. And we must recall that during the Biafran War of Independence, while countries like France, that is the highest investor today in Nigeria, provided support, countries like Ivory Coast, Norway, and others, the one country being ruled by a Fulani man that refused Biafra the opportunity to receive support to prevent genocide was Cameroon, because Ayijo, a Fulani man, preferred the domination that was exercised by the Fulanis from within Nigeria and Cameroon over the Biafran people. Ambazonia is the only access you have. And within Cameroon itself, while the people have relationship with Central African Republic and other countries, Biafra is our only closest neighbor with massive investment within Ambazonia. Biafra is also the place where thousands of our people have sought refuge and have been treated with great hospitality. And for this, I want to thank the people of Biafra who have taken care of our refugees, and I ask you to continuously support them. Going forward, we are going to work together in different areas to ensure that our both nations emerge from these exclusive servitude imposed by both Cameroon and Nigeria. in coming to this joint press conference, I understand the worries of Ambazonians, and I have taken time to brief other leaders to make sure that I can allay the worries and fears of our people. These worries and fears is rooted in history. We were part of the Eastern House of Assembly in Enugu. But one great difference is when our leaders walk out of that house, there were no helicopter gunships that mauled our people. Our people were not massacred because we chose to establish a capital in Boya. But in the last 4 years, we have observed with great dismay the rapacious policy of Cameroon, the tyranny of a system that is intended on governing Ambazonia without consent. And if I would be given a choice to make Biafra my friend or Nigeria my friend, I will understand that the state that kidnapped and renditioned hundreds of our people, who were then locked incommunicado, subjected to torture, brutality, and sentenced to life in jail, was not the people providing sanctuary to our people. If I would be given a choice between Nigeria and Biafra, I will recall the thousands and thousands of Biafrans who are part of our economy. I will recall history, that when we had a wonderful trade with Biafra, the port of Tico was vibrant. The port of Victoria was vibrant. So too was the port of Port Harcourt and Calabar. But the Fulanese that have been governing Cameroon at that time dismantled our economic infrastructure and made it impossible for bilateral trade between our country and Biafra to take place, subjecting our population to impunity, making it impossible for any cross-border relationship. As you have said, we are one people, interculturally linked. But I also want to remind Ambazonians that I take your concerns seriously. That is why this alliance is split into 3 phases. First, to ensure that both peoples are liberated from the tyranny imposed on them, and to establish within a transitional period methods of collaboration and cooperation to dismantling the economic blockade that have impoverished our 2 nations. And within this period, there will be massive consultations within Ambazonia to ensure that any treaty that will be binding between the 2 nations is approved by the Ambazonian people. This relationship and alliance is critical. Across the globe, nations and peoples and countries are coming together to ensure the prosperity of their people, to ensure the liberation of their people. The Biafrans have been subjected to genocide, ecological hazard, by a few greedy people who have hijacked an entire nation and make sure that they treated the Biafran people with impunity. For the past 60 years, Cameroon rolled its tongues into Ambazonia, subjected our people to economic deprivation, political asphyxiation, cultural intoxication. Those who spoke were murdered. Those who escaped were hunted like games, rendition, and incarcerated incommunicado in the jails of the occupier. For us, the Ambazonian people, we have resolved in the past 4 years to match Cameroon method for method and ideal for ideal, to make sure we arm ourselves to the teeth, to ensure that the brutality that our people have been subjected to in the past 60 years comes to an end, so that we can establish within our own borders economic and political systems that are indigenous to our own cultural and political realities, that our leaders are accountable to our people, that our bounties will be exploited for the development of our people and those who believe in our own values, that our nations will never again, the nation of Biafra and Ambazonia, taken hostage by a few greedy men, our women raped, our children subjected to misery, and our men turned into boys. The era of domination that benefited a few within our continent and beyond its shores, leaving millions destitute, leaving millions moving across the Atlantic, dying in the ocean, must come to an end. We must redefine the contours of the continent. For the notion of Pan-Africanism must be redefined to ensure that self-determination of nations that have been caught under political systems that do not represent their interests becomes the norm. Before there was Nigeria, there was Biafra. You cannot allow yourselves to be taken hostage by a few men who've decided to rape your soils for their own interests. So too are Ambazonians. We don't seek this alliance as an aggression against others. We seek this alliance as a means of self-preservation against tyrannies that have curtailed for both peoples our right to survive within our own shores. We mean no evil to others, for everyone has a right to self-determination, and we are determined to exercise this for ourselves and for our people to ensure we bequeath to the next generation a better country than we inherited. God bless Biafra. God bless Ambazonia.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful speech coming from Dr. Joe Ayaba. I would want to ask just one question, but then I think it will be very, very imperative, to ask two questions. I wanted to ask one that both leaders will address, both of you will address this question, but I want to ask individual question because, this is a historic event. And I want to seize this opportunity to ask these questions. Now, to our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Okukano, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, the Ohamadike one of Biafra, I want to throw this question to you. Maybe not question per se, but let me throw this question this way. Just a few days ago, I came across an article written by New York Times. And this article said, and I quote, more than 1,800 prisoners are broken out of jail in Nigeria. Gunmen bearing machine gun and grenade stormed a prison in a restive part of southeast Nigeria, many refer to as Biafra. Many refer to as Biafra, letting loose any inmate who wanted out. Now, I'm going to also take a line from this same article, which says Biafra in the same New York Times, and that article say it has been 51 years since the end of the Nigeria Civil War, in which people of Eastern region broke away from the rest of the country. Biafra, the state they created, came to an end when its leader surrendered after 30 months of fighting. But the Biafra dream is alive and well. And when I listen to both of you, I listen to Dr. Joe Ayaba, I see the same agony, the same story, the same kind of experience I also have come across an article which says that some of the Ambazonian leaders who sought for refuge in Nigeria were arrested secretly and repatriated back to Cameroon against international law. Now, why I made references or try to read from this report is because a lot of people may have somehow a different opinion, divergent views about the historic alliance between Biafra and Ambazonia. I want the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, what assurance are you giving to Biafrans, knowing fully well that New York Times, for the very first time since the beginning of the restoration struggle for Biafra, they are now recognizing Biafra in the east side of Nigeria. Can we hear your opinion on this?
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon. And once again, let me commend my dear brother, Dr. Joe Ayaba, for this event this evening, morning, noon, or night, depending on where you're watching us from. I did say many years ago that a time will come when they will talk about us. And that time has come. And they are talking about us because of what we have been able to exhibit over the years. Consistency, determination, resoluteness, and of course, above all, being ideologically, philosophically, and spiritually consistent in what we are doing. Because the word secession, I do not recognize. The word, should I say, extremism, I do not recognize either. Because as I have always argued, you cannot secede from something that you're older than. The white man came and decided to create Nigeria. Nigeria is not the creation of God. And if we continue along the same line, including my dear brothers and sisters of Ambazonia, then ultimately the world will recognize what we are yearning for and do something about it. If they fail to do something about it, we will do something about it ourselves. Because one thing is certain, when did Cameroons come into existence? You heard our dear brother there, the leader of the war of Ambazonia, telling us that these same Ambazonians are looking at today. At the time, they were in Enugu, attending the same Eastern Constitutive Assembly in Enugu. The man you're looking at, Dr. Joe Ayaba, and all Ambazonians at a time had their political representation. It is a very good thing. I saw the map that was displayed when Dr. Ayaba was speaking. Look at it very carefully. You will see that when it came to us, it used to be called the NCNC, National Council of the Cameroon, of National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons. When they say National Council of Nigeria, they were referring to Ambazonia. Ambazonians were part of us in Enugu before. Somehow, the powers that be determined that they should be cut away from us, that we are no longer one people. What gives you recognition is truthfulness. What gives you recognition is consistency. What gives you recognition ultimately is the ability to let your enemies understand that you will sacrifice anything sacrificable to get that which is right for your people. And that is why we are getting a mention in New York Times. As you would say, you did not mention CNN because the same thing happened to CNN, even quoted me for the very first time. I'm not sure they've done that before. CNN quoted what I said regarding the attack of a non-gun, I wouldn't call it an attack, the granting of grace and freedom to people who are illegally incarcerated in Nigeria. And I do hope as time goes on that the same level of consistency and spirit of never say die will go into all ethnic nationalities within Nigeria and beyond that are yearning for freedom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that insight on that report. Yes, I didn't come across the CNN report yet. I'm going to look into that. Dr. Cho Ayaba, my question, or I would ask you to make a comment, is on the fact that you have actually elaborated a lot here, the dividends, or what I should say, what awaits the Ambazonian people, through this alliance with the Biafrans. We've also have seen how the Nigeria government illegally repatriated Cameroonians, Ambazonians, back to Cameroon against the international law. And of course, what assurance are you giving people of Ambazonia that the alliance between Ambazonia and Biafra is going to be more fruitful than ever having anything to do with Nigeria, considering the fact that they have breached international laws, repatriated people of Ambazonia back to Cameroon, and today most of them are in jail unconstitutionally?
Thanks for that question. If you look at the map across the globe, whether within the European context, if you look at why there was a Second World War or First World War, you will discover that there are Germans within Switzerland. There are Germans, the Germanic race in Austria. You have the French across in Quebec and in Belgium and different places. And although this is what I call a linguistic kind of unism, these countries have always sought alliances with people with whom they have some cultural attachment for both cultural expansion, economic development, and purposes of self-preservation. And as I stated, the Biafrans are isolated. Ambazonians are isolated. These two nations form an economy of close to 72 million people, put together bigger than the economies of more than 100 United Nations countries. The Ambazonian economy has been sustained from Biafra, where people have had access to cheap goods. We are also aware that more than 20 years ago, Cameroon helicopter gunships bombed boats that were coming in from Biafra, bringing in goods into Ambazonia. We also know that while the Hausas and Fulanis are highly attached in the north to the countries beyond the border of Nigeria, like Niger, and strengthening that alliance for both economic and political power, and the Yorubas are attached on the other side with Benin, ensuring their survival and self-preservation. What choice do the people of Biafra have? It's Ambazonia. And so this political alliance is crucial for the purposes of self-preservation of the two nations, and also to let the others who have occupied our both countries know that we will not choose our friends based on the definitions and interests of those who've subjected us to impunity. As you've rightly said, a few years back, hundreds of Ambazonians were illegally kidnapped. Those who were even sought asylum within Nigeria, they were subjected to psychological torture in prisons across Abuja, chained like sheep to the slaughter, rendition to Cameroon, where they were incarcerated, detaining communicado, sentenced to life in jail. This is the collaboration between Yaoundé and Aso Rock. It serves the interests of Yaoundé and Aso Rock. It doesn't serve the interests of Ambazonia. And it has put to shame, it has brought shame to the Biafran people who have shown great hospitality to our people, including ensuring that there is protection for our refugees. Even though the refugees are within the Biafra land, we have observed with great shock attempts by Yaoundé to work with certain political individuals within Nigeria to repatriate our refugees despite the raging war. This collaboration, as I have said, is defined in three phases. I will be leading on behalf of the Ambazonian people, working with the people of Biafra and the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra to ensure that in phase one of this collaboration, we are able to work together to ensure the self-preservation of both peoples. However, the Biafrans choose to do it with their choice. For us, Ambazonia, the right to self-defense is a right that we have invoked, because the only weapon of choice that Yaoundé and Cameroon has used in 60 years is that of rifles, machine gun. We have risen up, armed ourselves, and we will continue to arm every Ambazonian to make sure that even after independence, there will be no threat to our independence as we saw 60 years ago. And I think it is important that when we establish a free and independent nation beyond our borders, there should be another nation that is free to engage in trade, commerce, dismantling the economic blockade that both countries of Nigeria and Cameroon have imposed. As we move forward, we will be looking at the details to expand the details of our collaboration. And as I know, and as I said in my opening statement, to assure the Ambazonian people, in times of peril, leadership must make decisions that safeguard the interests of the people. There will come a time when the Ambazonian people will be able to certify the instruments of collaboration to be binding to both Ambazonia and Biafra. And that can be invoked under international law as binding to both peoples. I trust my brother, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for his steadfastness, for his ability to galvanize and mobilize the Biafran people. To you, the Biafran people, this is what I'd like you to know. You cannot allow people to invade your land, use your resources to arm themselves and subject you to torture while you escape across borders to establish little niches in different countries. You must rise up in whatever way, form, or shape to defend your right to exist, defend your right in the land of your birth, to exploit your resources for the benefit of your own people, and to make sure you can bequeath to the next generation a better place than you have inherited. A genocide took place in your land. Those people didn't die in vain. In the past few weeks, we have observed with shock and awe helicopter gunships throwing bombs in your suburbs. Those people who have died have not died in vain. And I can assure you, we will establish within the Gulf of Guinea stable political systems that would ensure that our partners beyond our region can trade with us with respect for our independence, and to make sure that we can reap the benefit of international trade. What we should never allow again, and I say we, Biafrans, Ambazonians, and all peoples within the continent who are blessed with the bounties that God has given us, is to allow tyrants and murderers to hijack our states and use it as experiments for murder and genocide. That era has come to an end.
Well detailed comment on that question I asked. Thank you very much. Both of you have done so well, and our viewers, Also, thank you for watching. We are going to ask you, both of you, to give somehow a closing statement, word of encouragement to both countries, both nations, especially those of our men in the forefront of this struggle. We want you to give word of encouragement. Very brief. We can start from Ohamadike of Biafra.
Yes, thank you, Simon. And once again, thank you, my dear brother, Dr. Cho Ayaba. What I have to say is very simple, is that we have embarked upon a mission and a journey from which there is no turning back until victory is assured. What we can also tell our people today is one thing, that we are not going to stop what we are doing until freedom is secured for all our peoples. It doesn't matter what the enemies do. It doesn't matter what they intend to do. It doesn't matter the sort of collaborations they may enter into. It doesn't matter what form of brutality or any form of brutality they may wish to visit upon us. We are resolved and determined to make sure that we prosecute this very campaign to its glorious end, because in the end, we're going to emerge victorious. There are men who are fighting, people who are defending our land against the excesses of Fulani Janjaweedism, those who have come from the Sahel to take over our land. We're not going to allow them to do that. I must encourage them, and also encourage Ambazonian fighters as well in all that they are doing to ensure that the land of Ambazonia is safe. We must not make this very mistake that most people do all the time, to think that help is going to come from somebody else. Nobody's going to help us. We are here to help ourselves, and God willing, we are going to emerge victorious. So I thank all people watching right across the face of this planet Earth today, and especially to this very union of Biafra and Ambazonia, because I do know that in time to come, it will yield positive fruits and results that will help propel both nations towards freedom. And that's why we are here. That is what we are dedicated to doing. And that is what we are going to do every blessed day of our lives until both peoples are free. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the Ohamadike of Biafra. Dr. Cho Ayaba, can you give the men in front line your word of encouragement?
Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank my brother for the courage. Both of us standing here today is out of courage. And I want to thank you very much for having that courage to make sure that we can step out of the cocoon and stick together. To our both peoples, the people of Biafra and Ambazonia, I would like you to be assured that in our greatest moments of need, like those of others before us, they've established alliances to ensure their survival. Look back and you find roads and our villages littered with the charred bodies of brave men and women who rose before us to attempt to defend our lands. You look back and it's horror and pain faced by millions of people who have never known happiness, who've never known peace, facing ecological and economic disaster of untold proportions, imposed by others who have sought to occupy our both countries without our consent. Look back and there is genocide and hopelessness. You look forward, there is hope, but you require determination and courage to marshal on and to make sure that we can both be free. Ambazonians must know the tenure of Cameroon in Ambazonia has come to an end. The last chapter of its presence has been written by the blood of our people, and its tyranny and subjugation and impunity and abuse shall never again be tolerated. We will establish going forward friendship with people who have similar experiences and who mean good for us. But we'll also ensure we proudly safeguard and preserve our independence. To you, the people of Biafra, you have to stand firm. The past has been difficult. The present is hopeless. But the future under your present leadership and construct is very hopeful. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This has been now a very successful press briefing. And on this day, the 9th of April, 2021, history has been made. Thank you very much, Ohamadike of Biafra. Thank you very much, Dr. Cho Ayaba. And may God bless you. Now, our viewers, we are going to continue and we are going to have some panelists who are going to join me in the studio, and we are going to make some kind of analysis on the speeches of these both leaders. So our viewers, don't go away. Sit right there and watch as we bring in panelists. And remember that the collaboration and alliance between Biafra and Ambazonia has just started. Most of the thing is not going to be happening on social media. We are not going to be broadcasting as we move forward in this quest for freedom of both nations. But the actions, collaboration as a result of the collaboration, or what you are going to be seeing from now on will tell you what is going behind the scene. The history has been made. And somebody like me and you watching today, we are all happy to be part of this great day that have just started. Thank you and stay tuned as we come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Ambazonia and Biafra, the national anthem of Ambazonia.
Hail this land of glory, we the Ambazonia, pledge our loyalty. Praise to our Savior who granted us the freedom. Allegiance to the hero who called the lonely gather. Glory to glory, we rise and never to fall. Here in a nation, flowing with earth and holy. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Biafra and Ambazonia, the national anthem of the indigenous people of Biafra.
Land of the rising.
ladies
Welcome
and
to
gentlemen,
ACN.
citizens of Ambazonia, Biafra, and friends of the world, welcome to the joint press briefing between the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and the leader of the Ambazonian Liberation War, Dr. Cho Ayaba.
Welcome to ACN, the Liberation TV of Ambazonia. Ambazonia Defense Forces, the vanguards of the Ambazonia War of Independence. Stay tuned on ACN TV. We will be right back.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, ideal and heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll and the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke was too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my vein. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here. It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is a nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes
speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, it's a sign of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh, yeah. People of Biafra. See light shining on the world. Oh, yeah.
The king of Kimezu music again on this one. Your boy's Dave. But that again we no be forgetting you way. Kick like we no be forgetting you way. Brother Wabi we no be forgetting you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forgetting you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forgetting you way. Betty Alash we no be forgetting you way. Abdul Bello, we no be forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. Meme Raymond, we no be forget you way. Brother Chopdo, we no be forget you way. Chamoni, we no say you don't go, we no go forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no go forget you way. Brother Scoopy, we no be forget you way. Grand Joji, we no be forget you way. As I be say you don't go, but I no go forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. Mama Tina, take a molo way. Kababelo, take a molo way. Baba Jile, tell a walla lay. But tell a walla wangonji over there in control. Kongonza kunyo there in control. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa, yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa. Attention, whoa. Tunu bakuzu. Tuzu batankunyo. Jafina chefi. Wanyanyoka. Wati walu. Atankunyo. Unakana mbiana jicha. Yena wa. Okinama. Na watokpa mama yasu. Wajiwa yotokpa wa yasu. Ye bongumbe bonguna la wakundi ko byala. Ye bongumbe matamuna la wakundi ko byala. Bonje bo sakuole. Sakuole banjiwa bankumba sakuole. Oh basakuole. Meringwete sakuole. Basakuole. Bembuso de bale. Mama de bale. Bemba bien de bale. Ala bakundi ko byala. Oh, bin de bale, ala baku ndi ko byala. Petit Alain, we no be forget you, we no go forget you, we no be forget you. Kigola, we no be forget you, we no be forget you, we no go forget you. Brother Wabi, we no be forget you, we no go forget you, we no be forget you. Grand Joji, we no be forget you, we no be forget you, we no go forget you. Meme Raymond, we no be forget you, we no go forget you, we no be forget you. My Abdul Bello, I no go forget you, I no be forget you, I no go forget you. My brothers and sisters of Kimezu land, we no be forget you, we have lost forget you, we no be forget you. Great people of our Kimezu land, we no be forget you, young men who are there, we no brighter future. Only the handsome girl, he's the final choice. To all my brothers in the Northwest and Southwest, accept my condolence. Let's be forget you, to God. He's the Supreme Commander. When he says yes, no man can say. Oh Lord have mercy. Thank you, Jesus. Sakunyo usakabo worship. She came and down a bimbo hoyasu. And Mandy Koyala de God. We know we forget you. We know we forget you. Shanye she ale wangu ndama moyasu. Hey wangu mbuti mishingela moyasu. Oh my brothers, we tears in my eyes, I am crying. We say Jehovah, have mercy, oh have mercy, oh Lord. We know we forget you, we know we forget you, we know we forget you. But that again, we know we forget you, way. Kick like we know we forget you, way. Brother Wabi, we know we forget you, way. We know say you don't go, we know we forget you, way. We know say you don't go, we know we forget you, way. Petty Alash, we know we forget you, way. Abdul Bello, we know we forget you, way. We know say you don't go, we know we forget you, way. We know say you don't go, we know we forget you, way. We know we forget you, we know go forget you, we know we forget you. We know we forget you, we know we forget you, we know go forget you.
This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died, that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no longer them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I got that day, oh. Remember when me tell you say I got that day, oh. Yeah, I remember that one that called us a prospero. But the way you go like a papa nuku. But them way we go, me tell you what I look pandi, what pandi samiro, me tell you what I day. For we just fall under us, man, I tell you what I do. We never come up, me tell them
I want to promise you something today. We must fight together. No retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra. May your soul rest in peace.
And I look up to the sky with tears in my eye. For other Biafrans and for freedom and to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, will ever be a part. They fought for our freedom. They died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes. We want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart forever, forever, forever. forever and ever and ever and ever.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation.
We black in our history, that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bomb, I'm blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
They were starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in my heart, we bleeding inside, tears in my eyes, so I'm falling here.
This is for my fallen heroes. Keep them on the patient people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause we to be a gas, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. They died for me, for the freedom of my unborn child. We live for the legacy.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright. Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Yeah, put the flag in the air. Never be afraid. March on, cause we are more than conquerors. Yeah, you know what it is.
I'm looking at myself
We
in the
must
mirror.
revenge, and we must stand to represent who we are.
I ain't walk fast because any free money then inside. Make us like him about the whole and the movie too much. We are walking down the better. I'm mad and I'm walking you a little quick and I walk to my home. So now I'm in a cultural dance. And they use space about cultural music. Open space to happen that. Appreciation is allowed. I'm supporting of gas line zone. Yeah, cultural dance soon about no. You don't know. Thank you very much. Soon about the cultural dance soon about people on the line a program did very well. Even Abanot and Abasat on a band. Abanot and Abasat on a band. So we have not drawn the party. Thank you, DJ Murphy. I'm not supporting. Thank you. Una Baleala too much. Even in Kemoke, go and catch a Balea. Thank you very much.
Tawuna forma kuma chwela chukwi chwe gama kongte karela chama komba da makare chama tu timtime de wala o wazobo o mama alibemo. Oh Lilongwe, Miliana Gunte Mangunza, Ayonde. Dr. President Batungani Bolo. Don't the president back to Ghana go no. Simon, please advocate to fight on Dama Hotel.
You are listening to DJ D1.
All hail Biafra, land of the rising sun. We love and cherish. We have vanquished our enemies. All hail Biafra. God bless Biafra. In Him we trust. Shout it, sing it. All hail Biafra. God bless Biafra. We have emerged triumphant from all our foes. Through the crucible unscathed, we passed victorious. Our trumpets pealing, the glorious song. Play it, sing it, all hail Biafra. Oh, hail Biafra. We shall always remember all that perished in the struggle for our freedom. All hail our heroes. Our prayer shall be.
Stay tuned on ACN TV. We will be right back.
Good evening, my fellow Ambazonians, and good evening, our fellow brothers and sisters from Biafra. I am Lucas Asu. We'll be doing the post-analysis of the joint press conference between the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, and Dr. Ebacho, leader of Ambazonia War of Independence. We're going to have a great panel discussion to analyze the impact of this joint press conference, the impact of the alliance, the impact of the future of the people of Ambazonia, and the future of the people of Biafra. Welcome to you all, and good evening once again. Tonight, we are going to be having, in the panel, we're going to be having the Vice President of Governing Council of Ambazonia, no one but Dr. Julius Nyi, and also Dr. Gabila, who's everyone knows, a firebrand doctor, an economist, a strategist. Our brother Dr. Larry is here also. If it's not, then no problem. We have two great giants in the room. We have some of the greatest minds today in the room. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, VP. Good evening, Dr. Gabila, aka Dr. G.
Good evening, Asu and Comrade VP. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Dr. Gabila. Good evening, Comrade Asu. It's nice to be on the air once more to dissect not only the message of the two giants in the Gulf of Guinea, but also to look at their body language, the economics, and the implications for the Gulf of Guinea and Africa.
All right, let's get started. Let me start with you, the Vice President of Governing Council of Ambazonia. This is very historic. This is very unprecedented. The Ambazonia War of Independence has suffered a stagnation. Today, I consider it to be a day of reawakening of the passion, the commitment of the Ambazonian people. In summary, when you watch the two leaders, you watch Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the Biafran people, you watch his statement, you watch his passion, his energy, his enthusiasm, just the focus, and listening to Dr. Ebacho, narrating the importance of this alliance. Now, what came to mind, sir?
Thank you so much for that question. Indeed, when I watched them, I wasn't only listening to the message. A communication in itself, the message is only 30% of the communication. 70% is the non-communicable message, body language, tone, the look, the ergonomics. When you looked into the Omar Dike of Biafra, you saw that his head was around 45% perpendicular, 180 degrees, 45% tilted forward. And if you look at Dr. Cho Ayaba, it was around 25%. That in itself shows focus. When you look at the shoulders were horizontal at that straight same angle of 180 for both leaders when they sat and stood to make up their speech. When you heard the way they spoke in a soft tone. Combine the tone, combine the body posture, combine the focus in no blinking. When you looked at the eyelids of Omadike, one of Biafra, was not shaking, and they were more or less looking towards the east. When you looked at the eyelids of Dr. Cho Ayaba, they were more or less looking towards the west. That tells you something. These two leaders can be related to what we call the sophisticated modern leadership style. When you look at the message, it's indeed historic, not only for the Gulf of Guinea, but for two peoples that share the same heritage, the same genome, that have been divided by colonialism, but also for the death of groups sponsored. Today is a historic day, not only for the making of this alliance, but for the death of major groups sponsored by both Nigerian government and Cameroon government in order to fight us. And the Omadike one of Biafra elucidate to that. We thought that it was only in Ambazonia. So indeed, today is the birth of more space, is the birth of more collaboration, sharing of knowledge, sharing of ecological space, sharing of know-how, sharing of tactical strategic advice. So it goes further than that in order to preserve the people of Biafra and Ambazonia.
Our famous Dr. G.
Comrade Asu, thank you so much for this opportunity. I thank the Honorable Comrade Vice President for the honor of sharing this platform with him. And I approach this very much from the perspective of an independent-minded analyst that attempts to engage with very complex and delicate arrangements of this nature to try and help our people to the most important thing. And permit me to start by saying that I want to commend the leadership of the AC and the leadership of IPOP for taking a very bold step to forge this beginning steps towards defining the blueprints of an alliance. And I think it's symbolic of a new dawn in African leadership. I particularly want to commend the leadership of the AGOC on this for the simple fact that we know the amount of noise that has been within the Ambazonian movement as this specific movement is concerned. And broadly speaking, Africa is sitting at the place there is the emergence of a new caliber of leaders. A new caliber of leaders that are going to be bold and resolute and focused and determined, who do not shy away from challenges, do not stay away from things because they are necessarily controversial, but articulate with clarity their conviction and take the bulls by the horns and go for the forging of alliances and partnership that seeks to bring together their collective efforts to get the spillover multiplier effect. And I think it's leadership. And when I go back to the actual press conference in itself, good to see a new generation of Africans putting their voice to articulate the concerns of the voiceless, to articulate the concerns of the common plight of a people. If you look at the maps that were displayed during that interview, and I was just looking at it and thinking to myself, take away the line that was put on that paper that defined the territories as belonging to two separate national polities. You essentially have a geographical continuum of people that have a shared cultural heritage, a shared history, and the leaders took us all the way back to the Bantu civilization and our common heritage to realize that not only do we share all these in common, but we are all being victims of a decolonization process that has bequeathed upon us political arrangements that do not fit the aspirations of our people. Decolonization has created for us a monster called the state that seeks to assert itself at the very expense of the people to be representing. And I think the new era of African leadership, which Dr. Cho, Comrade Namdi represents, is an era of African leadership that questions the very essence of our being and the political of ownership and management of resources that define our fulfillment as a people. It is fundamental to our very humanity to aspire for freedoms. It is fundamental to our very humanity to be part of arrangements and systems that capture our essence as a people. Now, any political arrangement that serve up and fail to capture the aspirations of most minute members of any society, and any state that sets itself up to the process of decolonization to so and oppress any segment of loses its legitimacy, because all the essence of governance and government is about. So if we sit in any political that does not meet our aspirations, we have the leadership responsibility to challenge that arrangement and to the very core.
All right.
And that is leadership. And I like what Dr. Cho and Comrade Namdi closed by saying, and I want both Biafrans and Ambazonians and Africans to remember that. We should stop hoping for this Father Christmas that is going to come and fall through the chimney to bring us solutions. Especially not coming from the international community. Help is not on its way. We are on our own. We either survive together or perish. And I think that's one of the key messages that I really eat from the leaders here. There's more I want. I'm going to give you.
All right, there is more. We will get to that. I know how passionate you can be, Dr. Julius Nye. Let us ask you this: how symbolic was this in terms of pivoting? Because the Ambazonian War of Liberation has gone through this period of stagnation. There seems to be no movement, no seriousness within the international community. There seems to be no dynamism within Ambazonia. How has this radically changed the direction of Ambazonian liberation?
Thank you so much for that interjection. To say that the tectonic plates of geopolitics within the Gulf of Guinea, including Nigeria, Cameroon, and Equatorial Guinea itself, Ambazonia and Biafra, has shifted. It's an undertone. This has shaken. Mind you, diplomacy and international system works at a snail pace. But the appearance of these two leaders and what they stand for, which is identical. Why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talked about consistency, ideologically driven, sacrifice, and continuity. Dr. Cho talked about steadfastness, consistency, and ideology. These are the underpinnings of the new leadership that Dr. Gabila just said. And these are the signals that tell the international community that the people that you separated are coming together for their own good, even though post-independence there will be separate state. This is a statement to say that in the new world order, there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies. There are interests. And as calculus change, so too do interests change. 3-4 years ago, it was unthinkable to talk about any alliance with the IPOB. But nowadays, it is even sought after. It is the talk of the day because the two people that share the same developmental history, the same culture, the same political history, the same violence against its own people, the same killing, the same international conspiracy to wipe them off the map of the earth has emerged. And I bet you from our insiders in Yaoundé and Aso Rock, they were watching us. They are trembling because they know that both Ambazonia and the Biafra people have finally emerged, have finally done what they thought they have been playing around to subdue or to dissuade people from doing it. And today is a great day, as both leaders said.
Dr. G, let me ask you this. Did the president of Governing Council of Ambazonia, the leader of our War of Independence, did he live up to the expectations of the Ambazonian people?
The art of forging leadership in the kind of delicate war of independence that we're pursuing is a very delicate. And the short answer is yes. Leadership is not a beauty contest. It's not the art of pleasing the mean average thinks he has an opinion. Opinions obviously must thrive in democracy for the vibrancy of our engagement. But to the extent that a people do not have the ability to identify or produce a crop of leaders that take strategic actions of the kind that we just saw tonight, then such a people are doomed for perpetuity. I commend Dr. Ayaba for the leadership that he and his team have taken. I take particular note that in the opening statements of committee, he took special attention to recognize the representativeness of the Ambazonia leadership that is in jail. It tells me that the AGOFC team did their homework to provide briefing to their counterpart about the context of the Ambazonian War of Liberation. That's leadership. You know, a lot of people can see ownership of Android phones and run commentaries on Facebook and on Twitter, WhatsApp. That's okay. You know, they are justifying the use of their data and why they pay internet bill at the end of the month. But we need people who think strategic, understand the dynamics of our current war of liberation, and take steps that seek to provide guidance and direction. Deal with the very difficult questions and issues that we are handling. And I recognize the fact that both Dr. Comrade Namji and Dr. Ayaba understand that this is a first step towards the establishment of blueprint that provides a framework that would explore the possibilities, neutralizing our efforts in order to be able to find, use the words that they put it, to use every means humanly possible to resolve this that we are facing as a people. Build on what Dr. Julius just said earlier, I want to stress conversation to our partners in the international community. I like the fact that they said that this is a political alliance that has no objective to offend or antagonize any party, but it is driven by the need for self-preservation. It is part of our humanity to aspire for self-preservation. It's a common denominator in humanity all across the board. Americans, French, Israelites, that if our human existence is threatened, be it by whatever construct which we want to call a state, we have an obligation, sake of self-preservation, to stand up and defend that. Nobody should feel antagonized. Nobody should feel under attack. We are reasserting our rights to be human. If we lose that, we use our humanity, and we may just stroll into the zoos and into the jungle and join the animal kingdom, having lost every essence of who we are as humans. So it's fundamental, and I believe that this message, well crafted and to the DA of Nigeria and the security services that are listening to us, to the security cluster of La République Cameroon who are watching and listening to us, understand that there is no harm meant. Nobody is seeking to antagonize any third party. But God in heaven is true and has us our humanity. We have the rights to defend it against imposition from states that use the legitimacy of the state to suppress the aspirations of the people. And every time a state organizes itself in a political arrangement that does not capture the sense of the humanity, the most minute component of that entity, that state's legitimacy should duly be challenged. Because at the end of the day, and I say it again, Comrade Asu, at the end of the day, the notion of the state and government has to be primarily about the people. And I think that our leadership is putting the issues on the table. We're asking the right questions. We're bringing onto the right issues. We are saying it's about time as Africans where we rise above the vestiges of decolonization and let it not be instrumentalized to destroy us. Comrade Asu, Comrade VP, just give me 1 minute. Let me explore this idea.
Go ahead, please.
For this interview, I went back to the question of Biafra. And it occurred to me that post-colonization, I'm thinking after 100 years of the slave trade and almost another 100 years of fighting, that I should and see 2 million Biafrans. I'm not talking about sheep and about human beings that are murdered in cold blood as a result of the starvation policies of General Yakubu Gowon. And we sleep at night and we somehow justify that in our brains, in our understanding, that it is okay for us to murder our own in the name of the present elusive concept that we state. What is the state? Where did it come from? Where was it in 1900? How is it that now, the question which we must ask ourselves as Africans is, could this have happened in an American civilization? Could this have happened in a French civilization? In 1960, could French people supervise the killing of 2 million French people? The version of what they call the state. And this is what is there in Ambazonia. For the last, since 2016, we Africans sitting and mint and the resources of the state and kill other Africans. Somehow rationalize that to themselves, that it is for the preservation of the integrity of the state. What is the state? State becomes a monster that consumes the people. The people have an obligation to rise up and challenge that notion that is called the state. And that's what...
All right, Dr. G. All right, Dr. G. Let me ask the Vice President this question. Dr. Julius Nye, let's ask you this. How has this alliance, how has this joint press conference changed the dynamics in the international community?
This press conference and the symbolism of it can also be equated to our admission at UMPO. Remember in 2018, when we visited the Basque Parliament, when we went into some collaboration with the Basque, we were told that the Basque are no country yet, it doesn't work. And we explained to the Ambazonian people that we had done our research, we had done our homework, we had looked at our situation, we had looked at the international system, and we understand how it works, that you don't get to the top by playing top game. You don't play the Champions League when you wake up in the morning. You start with your quarter game to a third division, to a first division, and play the Champions League. So today's sharing of a platform and collaborative apparatus between Ambazonia and Biafra that seeks to preserve their people, to be liberated, is a milestone that is being read not only at the level of governments, but multilateral international organizations. It signals that even underprivileged people of Ambazonia and Biafra can find common ground and friends. It also opened doors, just like the Basque country did for us, that we could only talk to the Basque, and today we are talking at the middle of the United Nations. That is only a matter of time, as I said in my address last week, that this year is year of power diplomacy, that from this collaboration, other countries will follow suit and align with Ambazonia and Biafra, because their interests would be preserved, their interests would be pursued internationally. It also sends a signal to Cameroon that if you are playing ball, and to Nigeria that if you are playing ball, this is huge and you better resolve this problem once and for all. Remember, the Secretary General of the UN in 1961, Dag Hammarvoort, the Dutch diplomat, said that merging Ambazonia with Cameroon was like submerging a balloon under the sea. It's going to come up. And it came up full scale in 2016. This in itself, through our diplomatic contacts in the last 3 days alone, there's been just so much activity. And we knew all of them were watching, because they had said they were going to watch, to put that in their own calculations and how this crisis is going to be resolved. But let Cameroon, let Nigeria make no mistake. From the stance of these two leaders, Comrade Nnamdi Kanu and Dr. Cho Ayaba, you can see that they are ideologically driven, something that most African states don't have. Even their countries are run on a day-to-day policy. They are not based on any ideology or any strong foundation to protect the lives of Africans and their countrymen and women. That these two guys look out for them. It's a new beginning for Ambazonian people and Biafra people. It's a new beginning for the Gulf of Guinea. It's a new beginning for Africa.
Dr. G, let me ask you this. How has this alliance reinvigorate the commitment of the Biafran people based on what Namdi, the leader of the Biafran indigenous people, Namdi Kanu, has expressed today?
I think we are witnessing the emergence of a new body politics within the Gulf of Guinea. I thought Biafra are going to find validation. They're going to find in the fact that across the artificially created borders, have a group of Ambazonians that have of Japan. Let us not forget that in exactly the same way that the La Republic took time to the extent that some people don't want to identify themselves as Ambazonians, is exactly the same way that Nigeria took time to demonize the concept of Biafra. That's relatively we used to call us Biafrans, which is arm, an arm in itself in international warfare and diplomacy, part of the propaganda arm. So I think that what we are doing, this alliance, is mainstreaming the denomination that we have used to call that our enemies have sought to bastardize and paint a negative of an elsewise aspiration of the people. So we're bringing Biafra out of the closet. We are owning their plight, and we are giving them validation, and we are telling them that as much as we do not share in this whole oppress that we are witnessing from the colonial regimes that we have set in the form of the states of La République du Cameroon and the Nigerian government, we are finding common cause in our common experience to define one destiny because of the common geographical space that we share, as we have both been victims of a common Fulani conspiracy.
Now, the vice president, let me ask you this. Now, with the emergence of a vibrant, charismatic, ideological-led leadership from Namdi Kanu of the Biafra and leader of Ambazonia War of Independence, Dr. Abacho, is this a change in the Gulf of Guinea? Would these two emerging nations become the new light to represent a generation that has been oppressed for centuries?
I couldn't deny your statements. This is what they said, each of them, that we will not bequeath to the next generation the same status quo that we inherited. We will give our next generation something better than we got. Remember, there is a saying that the fish starts getting rotten at the head. So if you have a good leader, you get good outcomes. If you have a bad leader, you get bad outcomes. With these two leaders, it builds that conveyor belt. It builds that following of new leadership within the Gulf of Guinea. It shows the people the kind of leadership that they've been yearning for. It reinvigorates, it re-energizes those that are defending their sovereignty. It gives hope to those that have been under servitude for the last 60 years for both countries. It allows them to be able to stand firm with an ideology, defend their land of birth, and die for it until independence comes. When I look at the two of them, Bluetooth connected. I look at the current leadership in both countries, and you find that there are total opposites. Where you find the leader of the Biafran people very charismatic as the leader of the Ambazonian War of Independence, you find a lame duck president in Aso Rock and another lame duck dying president in Etude Yaoundé. And this goes to show you that with charismatic leadership, with this new crop of Ambazonian and Biafrans, you will get what you see on the tin. I thank these two gentlemen so much. Many people were questioning, why do you do that? Why should we join with the Biafra? We are not fighting the same war. The Biafrans weren't recognized in 1961. But remember that the public announcement of this is as a result of months of back and forth meetings that these two organizations have had. And they have studied the international system. They have studied how they are hemmed in within that Gulf of Guinea by two superpowers. And they've seen that the best way to preserve yourself is to stand for your rights. Self-defense is a universal right, and the Ambazonian people and the Biafran people will defend themselves. And as they said and reiterated by Dr. G, nobody's coming to our help. The Ambazonian people will do it by themselves, the Biafran people will do it by themselves. So this is a good day for leadership, not only for the two gentlemen, but for the new crop of leadership, because people tend to emulate what they see. Not everybody, but many people tend to emulate what they see. If you see corruption in Cameroon and Nigeria, you tend to become corrupt. If you see leadership and leadership, you tend to become transparent. And these two gentlemen shine excellently in this light. I hear.
The public wants to have some calls for the two of you. Someone is calling from Toronto. Go ahead, please.
Hello, my name is Dr. Chidi Biafra. And I was pleased to have monitored the conversation between those two great men on your ACN channel. In fact, I was excited because today is my first time of seeing your channel. But I'm so excited and committed to even be transmitting your programs from now.
All right. Thank you very much. Do you have a question for Dr. Julius Nii, the Vice President of Governing Council of Ambazonia, and the economist and lecturer and activist, Dr. Gabila, concerning the joint press conference?
No, I don't really have a question for them, because mine, if anything, is just to encourage people who have not been monitoring the program. I monitored it a little bit and I had to attend to another program. But what I want to say to some of the people that I've been hearing some of the questions that people are asking, but I don't want to be upset with anybody, because this is a journey, continuous journey, and we've just come to a new stage in this journey. We've come to a new stage. I just want to encourage people to listen more closely. I am very, very impressed that we have people like them. I'm excited. I'm going to pay more closer attention to them, but I want people to pay closer attention to the Ambazonian struggle and what you guys are putting out there. The more they get closer, the more they understand what is going on, the more they will be able to see that we all are actually fighting for the same goal, and that is just liberation of our people. So all I have for them is
thank you very much. Your 2 minutes. Thank you very much. Your 2 minutes are up. Let's give the space for others. Thank you very much from Toronto. That's an Ambazonia, or that's our Nigerian who called from Toronto, Canada. Let's take this call from the United Kingdom.
Hello.
Hello. Good evening to you in the United Kingdom. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
We all are actually fighting for the same goal. Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you reduce the volume on your TV, please?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
How are you?
We are good. Everyone can listen to you.
I'm watching you people. I'm calling from UK. Okay.
All right, sir. Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I just want to thank God for the leader of Ambazonia and Biafra. One thing I want to say, they should not relent their effort. They should keep on. Because the same thing happened to the children of Israel in Egypt. One day, God remembered them. Biafra must be free. Ambazonia must be free. I just want to ask the Vice President, how are you coping with your people?
Go ahead, the Vice President.
The relationship with you and them, how is it getting on?
Oh, thanks so much first for your kind words. We are getting on so well. And I think what is needed is to tell your people why you fight. That's the first liberation, to liberate your mind. So we have been able to educate the Ambazonian people for the reasons that we fight. We have been able to tell the Ambazonian people the truth. And I think both leaders said it all, consistency and truth. We have been able to tell the Ambazonian people that this war of liberation is not a walk in the park. It's not something that you would pick up a roadmap from January to 1st October and tell people that on the 1st of October you will have independence. This is a long walk in the wilderness that requires sacrifice, and both leaders mentioned about sacrifice, that it requires stamina, but also that requires a non-backing down approach. We are not blinking. So if you tell your people that, and they know that they are fighting to defend their damn God-given land, they know that they are fighting to preserve their life. If not, they remain in servitude. They will rise up, and they are rising up in Ambazonia in their numbers.
All right. Thank you, caller, and thank you, the Vice President, for that, for answering that question. We have a lot of calls coming in. Let's take this call from somewhere. I don't know what country is that. Hello. Good evening to you. Let's take this call from Germany. Hello, comrade in Germany. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, my brother, for accepting this call. And I am calling from Germany.
Yes, you have 2 minutes. Go ahead. Either you have a question or you have a comment.
Okay, I just have a comment and just a comment. Thank you very much for this very wonderful program that you guys organized. It is actually a new development, and we all, that is exactly what we want. You know, the reason why we are suffering, both Biafrans and Ambazonians, is because we have given those people the chance which we couldn't have given them for the first time. But I can say that is not our fault, because those people who claim to be our leader are not actually our leader. They are slaves to white people, to these people we are living in their country. How can a whole president, just like the one you have in Cameroon there, nobody know whether he's alive or he's dead? Why must Africans be allowed themselves to be killed by their own soldiers, which are their African brothers and sisters? Why the European people who created those countries, who are presiding over us, will never say anything because of the resources they are getting? It is high time the Ambazonians understand that they need Biafra to be free. It is high time Biafrans understand they need Ambazonia to be free. It's just like what Mazin Amdekanu said. Nobody is going to help you from these people you are believing that they are going to come to your aid. They are not going to come. This is what we start doing now. This is exactly what we are supposed to be doing. And I am so much happy that I saw it. I believe Dr. Chao Yaba is an intellectual, is an intelligent man, a man to be trusted.
All right.
I heard his words.
Thank you very much, sir. We're sorry to cut you short. Thank you very much.
All will be fine.
Your 2 minutes is up. Let's take this call from Houston, Texas. Comrade from Houston. Oops, we lost that call as well.
I got a chance to react to some of the comments.
Go ahead, sir.
Right. So I just wanted to build on the comment of the last caller, which I think it's something that needs to really be emphasized. The whole notion of Africans. the whole notion of on black violence, the whole notion post independence of us using payers' money to give guns to Africans.
You have a question or you have a comment for either Dr. G or the Vice President?
It's a comment, but I would like Dr. G to make reference to it.
All right, you have 2 minutes for both your question and the answer.
All right, thank you. I think the game has been stepped up, and I want to talk about the regional aspect of it. We cannot ignore the fact that Biafrans are our neighbors. We cannot ignore the fact that La Republique too is our neighbor. We cannot ignore the fact that we have the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. So economically, we need the Biafrans. Politically, we need the Biafrans. In terms of self-defense, we need the Biafrans. So I want to ask this question to Dr. G. He has articulated that very well in a couple of situations. How are we going to tap into this cross-boundary relationship, knowing that we still have Nigeria, we still have La Republique du Cameroon in control of the borders? Thank you.
Okay,
Dr. G, go ahead.
Yes, thank you much to the caller for that quick question. Very quickly, as both leaders articulated, the combination of Biafra and Ambazonia is a population, it's a territory, and I think Dr. Ayaba articulated that, of about 78 million people, to be corrected, which he said is larger than over 100 different member states of the United Nations. That speaks of a market. That's number one. Number two, the two territories we are talking about have the unique advantage of not being landlocked. We both have access to the sea, which means that in terms of trade, in terms of the ability of the economy that could, of a potential regional economy that could emerge out of these two territories, there's a sense in which there is a guarantee of economic sustainability. Both leaders made reference to the fact that there is a significant amount of trade that is taking place between both territories at the moment. And the emergence of the concluding phase of the war of liberation should lead to the creation of cross-border infrastructure projects that make these economies to be more integrated with each other. Let us not forget that from a geostrategic perspective, both regions are sitting on the border of your CEMAC and your ECOWAS regions. It becomes a critical point of contact for trade between the broader two economic regions and African Union economic integration perspective. So the potential is huge. The potential is huge. The argument and ability is beyond question. I don't want to go into the question of ownership of resources and the wealth that is sitting beneath the soil of these two territories. I don't want to go into the question of the enormity of human resources that are shared by these two territories. But there's a question which is with the caller's question, which I think that we need to take into account. At the end of the day, say worst case we emerge with enmity from both Nigeria and Cameroon. We do have what it takes to be able to survive and interact with the rest of the world. But our hope is that reason is going to prevail. And as the Vice President started off by there are no permanent enemies when it comes to issue of international diplomacy. We just to prevail, respect to be mutual, for us to be able to get Asura and ATT a place where economically and politically they treat us with respect.
Go ahead. Do you have a comment or do you have a question for Dr. G or the Vice President?
Yes, I just have a comment. I just want to thank all of you. Dr. G, I want to thank you and just to give compliment to all of you. My name is Ambazonia. I'm calling from all the way from Netherlands.
All right, welcome. Good evening. Welcome and good evening to you.
All your great jobs. I say may God bless you for all this good job you're doing. I'm a born Biafra and of course an activist on the platform of Biafra. May God bless you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. The only thing is I want to be able to tell all the Ambazonians, especially those of us
who are very, very equipped in the broadcasting on the Facebook. We should stand up and keep this move, and because I know that God will give us Ambazonia and Biafra. I want to thank our great leaders, Ayaba, and also thanking our leader, Mazin Namdekano. I say, may God bless us, and we must get Ambazonia, and we must get Biafra. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Let's take this. Wow, we have tons of calls coming in. I don't know which one to take. All right, let's take this call coming from. Oh, we have a few more minutes for the leaders to take calls. All right. Hello. Good evening to you from the Biafra land. How are you doing?
Hello?
Yeah. Do you have a question or you have a comment for the Vice President and or for Dr. Gabila?
I have a comment.
Go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
I just want to say a very big thank you to our leader and the leader of
his network is very rusty.
Very good. Yeah, they are good. They can. Hello?
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you. His network is rusty. Let's take another call. Hello. Good evening to you from Germany. How are you doing?
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Dixon Michael.
Do you have a comment or you have a question for the Vice President or for Dr.
Yeah, I just want to have a word of encouragement for the Ambazonians.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, because I'm a Biafran. So because the reason I called is I want to tell them they have to be brave and they don't have to be afraid of anything. Because we, the Biafran, we have been determined to do undoable. In Ambazonia and Biafran, I know that the collabo is going to be something beautiful.
Yes.
So the word I want to give them, they have to be strong because Biafra is no-go area. So we are ready to die and we are ready to fight to get our mother's land. So the word also going to Ambazonia for them to stand firm and work with us because I know everything will be smooth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's take this other call. Let's take this call from California. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, Mami.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm calling from USA.
Yeah, I know you're calling from California. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Do you have a question or you have a comment for the Vice President and for Dr. Gabila?
I just want to give you a word of compliment.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Good evening to you from the United States. How you doing?
Fine. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Do you have a question or you have a comment?
I have a question.
Go ahead. Is it a question for Dr. Gabila or for the Vice President?
It's for the Vice President.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We all can hear you very clearly.
Okay, all right. Okay. So my name is Chris and I'm calling because the Vice President looked like somebody I met at UNN at University of Nigeria in Nsukka. We had a lot of Cameroonians coming there to study with us. And I kept wondering, why are these people coming to study? One of them, by name John Batuko, I asked him, bros, don't people have a university in your country. He said, no, that we're more comfortable coming to Nigeria to study. I said, study. People, you speak French. He said, yes, but they don't speak French. They speak English. And that got me a bit studying about the history of that part of Cameroon. Now, what I want to ask is, please, can you please give me a brief background to how you people began to speak English and how this led to the conflict or the quest for freedom? I just want to link these two factors, your English speaking and your quest for freedom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much, Comrade Chris. You're totally right. When French Cameroon decided to start officiating Ambazonia, many indigenes moved to the Biafra land in order to study. Our origin, we were colonized by the British, and therefore we spoke the British language, which is English, just like Nigeria. So that's where English language is coming from. But again, the view of Ambazonians or people from that part coming to study in Nigeria is due to this economic deprivation, but it's also due to this natural affinity that in difficulty, you always move closer to people that look like you, that behave like you, that are like you. So we couldn't go to somewhere else, but we could go back to where the Bantus are found. We could go back to our roots, and that's just a nature. I hear it for now. If you want to know more about, we could talk about the entire struggle, and we started as a struggle and then picked up as a war of independence for a lot of days. But I would like you to visit www.ambazonia.org, and you'll find tons and tons of information about it, please. Or you can just Google Ambazonia. You would find tons and tons of information. Thank you.
Let's take this call from South Africa. Good evening to you from South Africa.
Hello. How are you?
We are all well. We're happy to talk to you.
Yeah, very good to talk to you. I'm very okay. I have my name is Chika Nene Onyagiri from South Africa. I'm very happy for what has happened today, the epoch-making event that took place today between the leader of Biafran people, the Ohabadike Biafra land, Nnamdi Kanu. Can you hear me?
We all can hear you. Go ahead with your comment or your question.
All right. Thank you so much. And also, Dr. Lucas Ayoba. One thing, I have a question under this comment. And yes. My question is going to the vice president. As you can see tonight, you have a lot of Biafra people calling you for a reason. Of course, because of the outcome of this meeting. And I say that to say that Ambazonian and the Biafran are one people. When I look at you, I see myself. I mean, look at you, look at the way you smile, exactly the way Biafran smiles. So, we are one people. Yes. That's fine. So, my question would be, if we are to gain more international recognition, and it appears that United Nations would want to have us march together, is it possible at any point in time for us to form a union, kind of union of nations? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Go ahead, Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think the people of Biafra and the people of Amazonia are already members of the UNPO, the the unrepresented nations of people organization. So I think we are already working together in that regard. But also, as the leader said, our strategy is no need recognition. They would have recognized us since 1961. So our primary objective, goal, and strategy is to defend and take our land and own it, whether they recognize us or not. There are more than 24 independent states that are not recognized by the UN. Nobody is going to come and help us. The day you take your land back from Aso Rock or from A to D, the UN will run to you to do business, to recognize you. So, and you are true, the people of Ambazonia and Biafra are the same people, the same genes, the same smile, the same thinking, the same tradition, the same way, the same everything. Indeed, we are truly blessed in that Gulf of Guinea coast.
Are you satisfied with your answer? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
Yes, my name is Elvis. I'm calling from Germany.
All right, good evening. Do you have a question or you have a comment? You have a question for Dr. Gabila, or you have a comment or for Dr. Julius Ni, or you just have an excited comment?
I will say what I want to say. Maybe it will look like a question.
All right. Both of, they would decide.
So I want first of all, I want to thank our two leaders. They are awesome. And what I want to say is, this union we go into, I'm very happy. And the one thing I want to say, because we Biafrans, most especially we Igbos, we are hated almost everywhere in the world. They hate us. Even where in Germany here, when I meet Africans, people hate Igbos. So I want you, the leaders, like the doctor and the other brother, to speak more about educate our Ambazonia brothers home, abroad, to know that from today, they should not follow other African or other people to hate Igbo people. We are one, so that this struggle will move. So this is very important. You should understand they hate Igbos very well. Any place Igbo might enter, people jealous in the hate. But today, I believe you people will enlighten your people more about Igbos and about all Biafrans in general, to love them, to see them like their brothers, so that this thing will move forward. It's very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Dr. Gabila.
Absolutely, Aswan, and also in terms of validation to the caller, I think that Biafrans, like I said earlier on, have suffered for the last 40, 50 years what Ambazonians are suffering in the last 5 years, the demonization of the aspirations of a people. And I feel that there's a lot of confidence building. There's a lot of sharing of our common aspirations that we have to learn to relate with each other. There are fears, no doubt. You know, there's the conversation about the fear that caused our leaders to walk out of the House of Reps in Enugu. But this is 50 years down the line, and it's a new generation of leadership that is exposed, that is informed, that understands the way the world functions and the dynamics of people-to-people relations. So I think it is the task that we have ahead of us to reassure our people about what we stand to benefit by exploring the commonalities that we share, the common cultural identity, the common geographical continuous space, the potential of our combined territories, and the huge human resources that is sitting amongst our combined people. I need to also just say, Comrade Aswan, to the caller, that it's not going to be easy. After the euphoria of this launch event, the real work begins after tonight, because it's going to be tested.
Caller, just hold on, please.
We are going to have to prove the determination of our resolve, but I believe that both leaders and the broader spectrums of the team that stands them have taken the bold leadership decision to say, let's put this on the table and let's make it work. So the work only begins today, and we have a responsibility.
Thank you very much.
Like the lead, to make sure that we bequeath to posterity a different reality which we have experienced as a people. And we are holding.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gabila. Let's take this call from Texas. Go ahead, comrade from Texas.
Yes, thank you, moderator, and thank you, our great leader. My name is Chukuma Ewuzie. I just want to make a comment and commend each and every one of you, especially our leaders. The message what I want to say is this: the journey has just started. So our Ambazonia brothers, our Biafran people, this is a call, wake-up call. We must all rise to it. The momentum must be kept on going. The only thing that scares the oppressor is when the atrocities are known. And I think by this joint conference today, the coast is very clear. Those who doubted, they will not believe. So all hail Biafra, all hail Ambazonia.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Good evening to you, caller.
Good evening.
Do you have a question or you have a comment?
I have a comment.
All right, go ahead, sir. Your line seems to be very rusty. Take another call. Go ahead, sir. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. My name is Anayo Obunna. I'm calling from Copenhagen in Denmark.
All right, right on, sir. Do you have a question or you have a comment?
I have both.
All right, make it fast.
I will start with a comment.
All right.
Good. And then I'll end up with a question. I really want to deeply appreciate you and our leaders, Dr. Cho and Mazin Nambekane, and also our panelists. I want to thank you a lot for the work you are doing. Let me start by saying that I did my first degree at the University of Jos in Nigeria, and then master's at the University of Nigeria before coming to Copenhagen for my PhD. And when I was doing my bachelor's, my class rep was a Cameroonian, in fact an Ambazonian, a very diligent, hardworking man. His name is Emmanuel Onfo. He's in the United States now. A great guy. We worked and we related together. You never know any difference. In fact, when you see him, you will think he's an Igbo man. When I came to the University of Nigeria and Soka to do my master's, I met other Cameroonians. In fact, there was a guy, a doctor in the Department of Economics. Fonta, that's his name, Dr. Fonta. Great guy. You don't know any difference. You would think they are all Igbos. And there were lots of other Cameroonians at Soka. We are all relating. No difference. So when I hear these things, I think, wait, how did we get to this place, this level, where we are? But you see, what has taken place today is so exciting. In fact, for the past 2 days, I have been looking forward to this particular day.
All right, can you go ahead, just ask your question, because we don't have much time.
Now, I will go to my question.
All right.
Don't mind my talking like this, because it's so emotional for me. It's emotional. You see, all the Biafrans have been calling. It's so emotional to us, because it's like you're having your brother back again, in the same fold. Of course, we have our different nations, but at least the confidence and trust will be there. My question is this: how are you going to deploy your forces to be able to kind of re-educate the people again, Ambazonians mainly, to make them understand that, look, we have a common enemy and we have to work together to be able to confront this common enemy without allowing distrust to come in. Because I don't see why we school together, we do everything together. My professor at Soka did primary school, secondary school in Banenda, where they call Banenda in Ambazonia. Professor Charles Simone is a vice chancellor university of School University now. He schooled primary school, secondary school in Ambazonia, with a place called Bamenda.
All right, sir. Let's leave it there. Let the vice president, would you want to answer this question for him? Thank you very much, sir. Very passionate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our brother across the other side of the equatorial forest in Biafra land. Indeed, our approach is what we call the triad approach, where you have internationalization and community mobilization. For the operational issues in terms of forces and so on, as the leaders have said, that would be done in the background. But we will continuously educate, energize, and direct our people, both the Ambazonian people and the Biafran people, so that they become aware of what is going on, the road ahead, and be truthful to them. But rest assured, as both leaders have said, that there are people among us that will continuously act as enablers. It's not going to change. But you should remember that in most revolutions, enablers and infiltrators always outnumber liberators. But in the end, liberators always win because they are fighting for a just cause. They are fighting based on an impeccable underpinning. They are fighting for survival. They are fighting to get out of servitude, and they are fighting to preserve their dignity because they have nothing left. So I think with our third arm of internationalization and community mobilization, we would operationalize that at the ground level, and that's going to translate into more energy. It's going to translate into facing our enemies with more ferocity.
All right, that's we're going to take the last call for today. Who's the lucky caller? Let's take this call. Who's the lucky caller? We're going to take one more call. Let's take this call from Finland. This is the last call. Everybody's trying to get through. Hello, caller, go ahead, please. Hello, go ahead. Hello. There's so much. All right, go ahead, ma. We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I just wanted to say that this is indeed a beautiful day for the people of Ambazonia and the people of Biafra. I am so glad, and the confidence that our two leaders have displayed during this joint or conference or press briefing should give all the people of Ambazonia and Biafra, the courage, those that were sleeping, those that thought that we've come to the end and there is no light at the end of the tunnel. I hope that today will be a turning point for each and every one of us. I want to wholeheartedly thank both leaders for articulating the plight of the people in such a way that even somebody with a stone heart will understand what the people or our people have been through. We are the never again generation. To all the spoilers, the enablers, the two leaders have made it categorically clear that we are the never again generation. We are the no blinking generation. So that tenacity that they have displayed today, we should tap into that. Each and every one of us should look at ourselves and ask, what are we doing? Our leaders are doing their best. What is it that we can do to support them, to make sure that, like they said, we bequeath to the next generation something better than what we inherited? I want to thank Dr. Nee and Dr. G for articulating as well and for answering even the difficult questions. Together we are stronger. Let's remember, we are doing it for Mother Ambazonia and for Mother Biafra, because it is this generation, it is God-chosen generation that will liberate these two countries. So I hear, thank you very much, Mr. Lucas Ashu, your wonderful smile, and for moderating this very well. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow people of Biafra, and my fellow Ambazonians, we've come to the end of our conversation tonight. We want to thank the Vice President of Governing Council of Ambazonia, Dr. Julius Nye, and our passionate and economist and lecturer and activist, Dr. G, for having taken the time to have this discussion, meet with the people, analyze the event, give them the clarity they need, answer their questions. Thank you, gentlemen, for your services to both the Ambazonian people and the Biafran people.
Thank you to us, Lucas, and thank you all our viewers. It's a great day for both people, and our freedom is on its way. Keep steadfast and support the boys and girls, women and children and fathers on the ground battling the enemy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Dr. G, do you have anything to say?
Thank you to the team of ACN and the AFC, Biafran brothers. I feel that a new day has dawned for Africans, for us as Africans, where we are rising. We have come of age. We are rising to take leadership responsibilities, to ask tough questions, to form strategic alliances, to address the plight of our people. I think it's our responsibility. I always say it's our generational mission. We cannot inherit problems and transfer them to our children to try and solve things that is not understand. We have the responsibility, the duty, to make sure that the problems that we are confronted with, we confront them and challenge and deal with them head on, so that our children would grow in a better reality than what we have experienced. And thank you and your team for the good work you're doing, Comrade Vice President. Ahead. Ambazonians are not easy people to deal with, but don't blink. Look straight forward ahead. I know that some of us right behind you to push you when the time comes, and if it's necessary, they will be your staunch defenders and will promote and validate you the right things with for what you did tonight. So thank you so very much.
Thank you to
Mr. Vice President. Do you have a closing remark, please? Just a last word.
No, I just wish to thank Dr. Gabila. I wish to thank the team of ACN, the Biafran people. Biafra and Ambazonia has come to stay. The shared destiny in Africa is imbued in stone today. It's also the case that never again would the Ambazonian people and the Biafran people be subjected to this kind of tyranny, and that the Ambazonia Governing Council and its leadership, Dr. Cho Ayaba, the Biafran people, especially the IPOB and its leader, Comrade Nnamdi Kanu, that God would bless you people and that you guide your people to freedom. I thank you all viewers. You people should do what it takes to empower these leaders to bring forth your liberation. That is all they need from you. And we are also thanking the fighters on the ground, our jail leaders in Kondengi, and we can't wait to have you back and know that we will bring you back home. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our viewers, have a good night. God bless you all. We will continue the conversation tomorrow. We will continue the conversation over the weekend. So for now, have a good night. May God bless you all, the people of Ambazonia and Biafra.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands.
There is nothing more precious in life than freedom.
Your freedom is in your hands. I have come here as the commander of this revolution to let you know that we will defeat Cameroon. We will not only defeat Cameroon, we will make it impossible for Cameroon again to ever invade our land.
Because this is the appointed generation. And we are going to see Biafra.
Welcome to ACN. Welcome to ACN, the Liberation TV of Ambazonia. Stay tuned on ACN TV. We will be right back.